Welcome back to RGR Football. I'm Ryan, and this is me going rogue on the NFL in all ways, as well as the Kansas City Chiefs. And that's who we're going to focus on today, as we usually do. You'll see some other things during this bye week from me, as well as the rest of the team here on RGR Football about the NFL and some other things that are going on, particularly about the playoffs, about trends, etc., etc. But today, we're going to look at maybe the most famous play now, because of Louis Riddick and because of the fact that this play's name is Ferrari Right. And it's something that Patrick Mahomes developed himself and had to sell to Andy Reid. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like and sub and hit the bell notification right now, because we're going to walk through this and you don't want to miss the next one. If you missed the last one, you have film from Dan Harms, you have film from me on a number of different things, including Willie Gay this week. We have tailgates and game plans and Q&As and the whole 9 yards. This is your hub on YouTube for all things Kansas City Chiefs and a few things NFL. Now today, this is really such a unique play, and you're hearing the talking heads out there on the media talk about it quite a bit, and this is the only play we're going to look at right now. And it's so unique because this is something that is a play off of, although not directly the same in any way other than a little bit of QB motion, of what they did in Philadelphia during their Super Bowl, the Philly play. And I think that's probably the inspiration, or I'd love to find out, but it's about Patrick and distracting the defense in what he's doing and bringing the focal point to him so that he can then delegate and get some guys open in some ways that allow them to really just play with it. And this is a red zone play. I don't know if this does you much good when you're out in the open field, but in the red zone in particular, this is a play that you want to run. A couple of key things. We'll watch Patrick here. You've all seen the highlights, but I'm going to slow it down just a touch because he sets. He starts to walk off as though there's a problem, and Travis Kelce's hand comes up almost like a kid in school. Hey, what are we doing here? They're obviously doing some kind of play acting here. And it does, look at the verticality of the defense. It kind of stands them up a little bit as they think that he's adjusting. And then he makes this cut. They're trying to adjust here in the back. This side, actually, I have to give the Panthers credit. The left side of their defense did really well in staying put. Now he's motioning back, and he's going to catch this snap mid-air, and that's pretty impressive. The rest of the flow is going to show these linebackers that Hilaire's going that way, Patrick's going that way, and that gives the illusion of what's going to happen. As you see right here, linebackers are flowing down. The one guy who's responsible for Travis Kelce is holding back in case he comes out in coverage. But this particular defender, who I think is actually really set to make sure that he sets the edge, is watching Mahomes and is actually reacting really well. So you see that Kaiser's coming down, Clyde's coming down, and that sets the motion that way. As it rolls forward, they just settle down into this block, and most of the defense has gone the utterly wrong way. Now you see a nice little triangle here. Had Travis run a little route, this guy would be in position, but they also have Tyreek covered too. This little pivot, which I think will be a wrinkle in the future. If they don't have this kind of close coverage, this pivot route would be one that right now, if Tyreek's coming down towards the pylon, that Patrick can hit right there at the corner as well. That is an option to look for down the line. And the block here by Kelce is key, because that saves the play. If this had been a free release and they could come towards Patrick at the point of the throw, that would have been a problem. The ball's away. Obviously, DeMarcus got plenty of room to make the catch, and it was a really nice play. But as we back it up, we got to take a look at a few other things. There's some positives in that Kaiser took his step, Clyde takes his step, and does what they need to do in order to set the motion, to draw the defense. There's another player doing the same thing, and Demarcus Robinson is a guy that you hear me talk about a lot as somebody the Chiefs can replace because of some of the catching issues. He didn't have that on this one, and I will give him credit because Demarcus has learned a couple of things from Travis Kelce in terms of being dynamic with the speed that you run your route at. And this is also a little bit of play fake, because watch Demarcus here. As what is going to look like a run to most of the defense, he's setting up as though he's going to block as well. As they come out, he's trying to make contact, and just as the player comes up, the defender tries to make contact with him, he accelerates into what is really just an over route placed at the back line. And that works just fine as he accelerates away. He is all alone with, look at this separation at this point. Not something you see from DeMarcus all the time, but shows that he does have the burst to get these things done. Now, there are a couple of drawbacks as well. Like I said, nothing is perfect, and we're going to see where this play broke down a little bit and what the options might come when we take a look at the other angle. And we're going to get to that directly because there's a couple of nifty things to go along with this as well. But right now, one drawback is that old Mike Remmers got beat badly in here, and this could have been disastrous had the play not been designed to go fast. Patrick's motioning back. He's going to catch this pass, but look what happens to Remmers here. He is beaten badly. Can't get his block. He's on his heels, almost falling down at this point. Actually, he could have gotten called for a hold right there. I'm a little bit surprised that he did not, because at this point, he is beaten so badly around the inside that he just hooks him, basically, in order to slow down because Patrick is completely exposed. Now, that's a veteran move, and more power to Remmers for doing what he had to do, but Patrick is nimble enough to get the ball out before there's any real danger of that defender colliding. But this is the big thing for me, and this is a big positive, as you've also heard me talk about Austin Ryder, and that he doesn't generate power. And I generally talk about things he doesn't do well because I do think that it holds the run game back. But this is impressive, and this is an early play. This is early in the game, and I can't point to the fact that maybe they had him active just for this play. That seems pretty far-fetched, but I think it may have been a factor because this snap is not just your average shotgun snap. Now, I think partly they line up like this specifically because it gives him a target. He's already lined up on Pat and knows where his aim point is. By the time we see the screen, we haven't seen him with his head ducked, so he knows where Pat's at. But look at Pat's chest. It's just outside the hash. I'm sorry, just inside the hashes. So he has a landmark. And as we roll the play forward, and Pat gives him a target, he's not looking again. That probably gave the defense a little bit of a heads up. But also, as Pat comes back, even on the run, the snap is going directly to about the same place. So what looks really difficult is probably a little bit easier for a guy who's done this quite a bit, not only with Patrick, but a lot of the shotgun snaps. I don't know if that played a factor in why Kilgore didn't play, but certainly this is a level of difficulty that is above and beyond. And when you have a creative quarterback like this, it certainly puts a little pressure on some guys to be able to do things that maybe aren't normal. And that's okay because Ryder does have the experience, so I'll chalk it up to that. He makes a good block and actually gets out to the side as well. And you see the line has all but turned around because they know they're going to end up watching the play as this happens. Now, Travis gets his block pretty well. A lot of defenders in space. And again, this is just a cleanup maneuver on the route itself. But it comes down to the play acting from the first hint that we get with Travis both hands on his feet. And as Patrick comes up and they give you, hey, where are we going here with this guy? Gives you a look, hey, I need to come communicate with you. What are you doing? Wait, I'm going to go back this way. And you see right now, as Patrick starts to plant and come back in motion, this side of the line is attentive and paying attention. These linebackers are confused. One, the middle linebacker is not even looking at Patrick's direction, and that actually leads to some problems for them because it's off and running, and he's coming downhill towards Clyde, as is the other linebacker, where they should have been able to track the quarterback a little bit. But this is a great play. Kudos to Andy Reid for allowing Patrick to do this, and Patrick for coming up with it. This is not an easy play to design or come up with or sell to your coach. So more power to Patrick, more power to Andy Reid. It worked out for the Chiefs. Make sure you like and sub and hit the bell notification right now if you want to see more of these. We appreciate your time. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. These videos to see more and